Miss Marsh picked up her cordless and tapped in the numbers. A click was heard, and then the light in the entire house slowly died down with whining power lines until, with a final snap, all the lights fully went dark. She moved to flick the switch on. Just because she had wanted them off before, but now that they were off on their own, she was feeling contrary about it. However, the light refused to be turned on. She went around the room to her little table lamps, and even tried the porch light and the hall light, but all of them refused to activate. "What's that now?" she growled.
"I tried to tell you, but you've been ignoring my attempts to get your attention,"
the goop said. Quick, like a whip, she swept her broom in a slice through the air and knocked the goop off its, base, for lack of feet to speak of. In the darkness of the house, the inky goop was nothing more than a shadow in her eyes. But she was sharp enough to realize that a voice in an empty house was something valid to slice at. "What is a creature like you doing here in my house?" she hissed. "I do not appreciate home invaders of any species, you know." The goop sprouted an arm and used it to take off the top portion of his head that quickly took the shape of a top hat and bowed to her with a flourish. The image, sadly, was rather lost on her in the darkness.
"I am here, madam, because I need your assistance."
He paused.
"I think it will interest you that, even more importantly, you need my assistance. Which, of course," he added graciously, "I am more than willing to give." She scoffed. "That's not very likely, unless you're offering to recaulk my bathroom. It's a hassle to do it myself, and I think since you look like a talking blob of caulk, you might be able to do a very good, neat job of it." "No, madam. I am not here to deal with your bathroom and decorating woes." She frowned. "I can't imagine that you'd be a city electrician. They don't usually come into people's houses. And even if they did, I'd much rather you sorted out the electrical lines outside, as it will hardly do me any good to have the wires fixed in here if they are still connecting to a power grid that's gone dark. Honestly, you young people tend to do things out of order, and I know you dears can't help it, but I expect a little more sense, at least from whoever is in charge of coordinating you people to fix the lines, to send you to actually do something useful instead of wasting our time in here." He started to speak, but she cut in over him. Yes, it's all very well and good to protest your age's ability, but that does not fix my power." He tried to talk again, and was again ignored. "No, I am completely certain that my power was working beautifully yesterday, and my kitchen mixer was fully powered and operational. So, I must insist it is the city lines outside that are having problems and not my own house. Goodness gracious me alive, can you not see that there's a storm going on outside?" He finally broke into her one-sided conversation. "Ma'am, I am aware of the storm. I do not care about the storm at all, though, because it doesn't matter." This time he cut over her next protest. "No, I don't care about the storm at all, because it doesn't matter in the least. Frankly, nothing about your electric needs matter to anyone here right now. You certainly wouldn't notice if it were off, as you clearly don't use it often. But even if you did, your electricity is perfectly functional." She squawked and protested that her house was dark, and that was an obvious sign something wasn't working. "It was working perfectly fine, dear lady. The only problem you have with it, at the moment, is me. I was forced to turn off your electricity in order to get your attention, as you were rather wrapped up in your, whatever it is you've been doing all day. I am here on much more urgent business than you can begin to imagine," he added. He had no chest, but the way the upper part of his form suggested a swelled chest, and his tone backed up the theory. "I am here today, madam," he continued, "because of the it that is currently residing in your neighborhood. If I remove the it for you, I think you will be willing to agree to help me with my little problem in return."